Hello students, this is Mr. Boyd again. Welcome back to another lesson in algebra. Specifically, we're still working with equations, except today we are going to take a look at rearranging a formula to highlight a different variable. So we want to rearrange a formula, formulas that you've probably seen before, such as volume formulas, area formulas, except we want to rearrange those so that a different variable is highlighted or isolated. So another name for formulas is also literal equations, and literal equations are equations with two or more variables. Okay? Some literal equations have unknown coefficients. There's no number in the term. Here's our goal, to rearrange a formula to highlight a different variable. So we're going to use the same strategies that we used with solving normal equations, if you can call them normal equations. We're going to use inverse operations isolate the variable that we're told to isolate. And the way we do that is, first of all, identify that variable, identify the operation being used, and then we're going to use inverse operations to undo the operation. Okay, so let's jump right into our first example right here. So I see that we have the formula volume equals length times width times height, and we are being asked to solve for h. That means when I'm finished, h will be by itself. It will be isolated. So what I like to do is when I identify that variable, I go ahead and highlight that because I know that's what I want to finish up with, being by itself. Then I ask myself, okay, so what is the L and the W doing to h? What operation is being performed here? Well, when I look at that, I notice that this is multiplication. And to undo multiplication, I need to do division. So since L and W are being multiplied by h, I'm going to divide by L and W to eliminate it on the right side. Well, if I do that to the right side, I have to do the same thing to the left side, just like we did with regular equations. Okay? After doing that, I notice that these divide out. So I simplify that right side by dividing out any like terms. And then here I've got V divided by LW. That can't be simplified any further. And so V divided by LW is my brand new formula with the variable h highlighted. And so this is my solution. This is what I was asked to do. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's roll down to our next example. I'll let you guys do the your turns on your own. So in this next example, we have the formula for circumference of a circle. And circumference is the distance around a circle. Here we're being asked to highlight or solve for the variable r. Well, r stands for radius. So we want to take a circumference formula and rewrite it so that it is a radius formula. Well, just like with any equation, we're going to do the inverse operations to isolate the variable. So I notice that r is being multiplied by 2 and pi. By the way, that symbol right there, the word for it is pi, if you didn't know that. So here we will divide by 2 pi to isolate r. And I notice that 2 divided by 2 is 1, pi divided by pi is 1, gives me r by itself on the right-hand side. I can't simplify anything on the left-hand side, so I'll just rewrite it as it appears. And this is my solution. R equals 2 pi equals C. C divided by 2 pi. So my new formula is radius equals circumference divided by 2 times pi. Okay, let's move on to our next example. Notice these examples are getting a little more detailed as we move along. That's intentional. Okay, so let's see. E equals 1/2 kx squared. Now I don't know where I got this formula. This might be an electricity formula or something from engineering. Don't know, but it just serves as a good formula to do here. Okay, so here we're being asked to solve for k. So again, this is the one I want to focus on that I'm solving for. Now, I notice first of all that I've got this fraction, and we know to get rid of the fraction, we need to multiply by the denominator. Notice there's only one fraction, so that means I'm going to multiply by that one denominator. So I'm going to multiply this side by 2, and I'm going to multiply this side by 2. Well, 2 times e is just 2e. 2 times 1/2, well, that gives us 1 kx squared. Well, 1 times kx squared is just kx squared, so I can really get rid of that 1 there. Okay, let me highlight my variable just so I don't forget what I'm doing here. All right, so I notice that k is being multiplied by x squared, so I'll undo that by dividing by x squared. Again, I'm just performing inverse operations. And if I can simplify something, I will. Well, x squared divided by x squared, that divides out. So I'm left with k. That's what I was trying to do. And then on the left side, I notice I can't simplify anything here. I don't have a 2 in the denominator. I don't have an e in the denominator. I don't have an x squared in the numerator, so I can't divide anything out. So I'll just rewrite this as one complete expression. And so my solution is k equals 2e divided by x squared. So at the end of the day, I've solved this equation for k, and the right side is the resulting algebraic expression. All right, looks like we got 2 more examples here to do. So this is a perimeter formula. Actually, it's the perimeter of a rectangle. And here I'm being asked to solve for the variable L. Okay, so let's see. Well, the first thing I notice is that there's a plus 2w, right? And there is a times 2 in this problem. So let's see. We can go about this one of 2 ways. I think to begin with, I'm going to subtract the 2w from both sides. Now, that's going to eliminate this 2w on the right-hand side. And on the left-hand side, I can't subtract 2w from p because they're not like terms, but I can write it as one concise expression, 2 or p minus 2w. On the right-hand side, I still have 2l. Let me highlight that L to remind myself that's what I'm solving for. And then the last step would be to divide by 2, just like we've done all the others. Okay, so that's going to give me L equals P minus 2W divided by 2. Okay, now that can also be rewritten as L equals P divided by 2 minus 2W divided by 2. And I notice when I rewrite it like that, I can actually divide out these 2's and simplify this expression a little bit further. So I'm going to write that answer over here to the right. L equals P divided by 2 minus W. So our solved formula is L equals P divided by 2 minus W. Again, we're using inverse operations. I subtracted because I was adding. I divided because there was multiplication. Okay, and then down here I just simplified it down so that it was a little more concise. Okay, let's do one more example here. This one's a little different. Kp plus mp equals q. This looks like just a random equation somebody came up with. I don't know that it has anything to do with any specific um, electronics or anything. It might, but I don't know. Okay, here we're being asked to solve for P, but I notice that I have P on two terms here. Okay, and I need just one P. Well, if you'll remember from previously, that P actually came from, let me undo this here, that P actually came from multiplying P times K plus M equals KP plus MP. Okay? So really what I need to do is undo the distributive property. Well, so I'm going to put a P out front. P times K would be KP. P times M would be MP, so must be an M here. Okay? Highlight my variable again. Okay, I notice that P is being multiplied by K plus M. Remember, I'm isolating P though, so I don't want to divide by P here. Instead, I want to divide by K plus M. Okay? Now, what do I notice when I do that? Okay, well, K plus M divided by K plus M, that's going to be 1 because that's going to be the same number if we know what K and M are. That leaves me with P on the left side. And then on the right side, can't simplify that, but I can write it as one concise algebraic expression, Q divided by K plus M. Okay, guys, I know this is a difficult topic. However, if you work at it, I'm quite certain that you can do well at it. Here is the homework problems. I only gave you 6 tonight. We also have IXL in our classwork, and it's titled Rearrange Multivariable Equations. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you benefited from this in any way, again, hit the subscribe button to be notified to see other videos that I put out. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.